Good evening and welcome to Girlfriend Minute. I am Shar.
And I'm Pascal.
How are you this evening, Pascal?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
That's good. I see you got your big bottle there of water.
I'm trying to drink, yes.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
trying to drink.
Yes, drinking is always good to do.
Isn't this like sticker collecting of 2024? Remember when we
I
had
think
sticker books?
so. Yes.
Yeah, and then
I
remember
still
that?
have my sticker book.
I don't know what happened to
I
mine.
still have mine, and believe it or not,
I
remember
had
those?
3.
Well, did you? I
I
had
did.
2. Remember those little stickers that used to have the colored gel stuff inside, and you
Yeah,
would
I
just
had a
touch?
crab, a seahorse, a whale. I
Yes,
did.
they still work.
Do they? Last
Yes,
time
ma'am.
I'm pretty sure I saw one at one point and it still worked, but I think between marriage and I don't know. I don't know what happened to them, so makes me
Yeah.
sad. But I had 3. I had quite the
Yeah.
collection.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
2. I think I still have my MASH book too, if I'm not mistaken. Remember
Do you
MASH?
really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Like when you're gonna
Yes.
marry, you're gonna live in a mansion.
Exactly.
How
Yes.
many
Or
kids
a
you're gonna have?
shack or a
Or a
house.
shack or a house. Apartment. Yeah, whatever. I don't even
Yes.
remember
Who
how
are
it
you
goes.
gonna
It's
marry?
awesome. It is awesome. Yeah, the good old
Yeah.
days. I
Oh
just
my
ordered a book
God.
of nursery rhymes for the babies because do people still do the old nursery rhymes we grew up with?
I mean, I do the Lebanese nursery rhymes, so I did the old
Yeah,
Lebanese
yes.
nursery rhyme.
Well, I'm
Yes,
from
but
Largo, Florida, so it's a little different.
I mean, I do. I still do
Yeah.
with the kids.
I say stuff and stuff to them, but I bought the old school book of nursery rhymes for them
Well, that's
because
good. Then they'll have
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's important,
I think so too. I agree. They should know
so
their heritage.
yeah, so
Yes.
anyways, just like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and
Yeah.
yeah,
Mary
all
had
the
a little
little
lamb.
lamb and yeah,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I used to play that on my violin. Mary had a little lamb. It was fun. That was like in 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Yeah, the good old days, right?
Yeah, when you were
Right.
learning how to play.
I was not learning how to play.
No, no.
It was like a lot
Although
of
there
work.
is a picture of you in the middle school, what do you call that, yearbook?
Yeah.
You had a violin. Not that
So
you played the violin, you were
no,
holding the
I was
violin.
holding the violin. I think they wanted us to, I don't even remember, but I vaguely remember that. But
Yeah, yeah,
Char no play.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, I haven't
Yeah.
played in a long time, in a while.
You still have your
So
violin?
I do. I still have my violin, believe it or
Oh,
not.
you don't
Yep.
serenade the babies with it?
Sometimes I get it out every once in a while, but then the babies just want to play with it. They think, oh, it's fun. Look at this. And it's
Yeah.
old, and I don't want
Yes.
them to break it.
And it's expensive.
It is expensive. Yes.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
oh, that's cool though. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
So,
one day when they get a little bit older.
there you go. Make them
Yeah.
sit.
Yes. Sit down.
You're gonna listen. So we have a guest on tonight, and she's been on once before. This is Crystal.
Hi,
Hello, everybody.
Crystal.
Hello.
How
I'm
are you today?
back. I'm
How
doing
are you doing
pretty
today?
good. Doing all
Good, good.
right.
And I
Well, I was
did
gonna
see your little
say,
water bottle there too with all your little
yeah. I got
stickers.
my stickers, but I still have to put my girlfriend minute sticker on. I didn't
Yeah,
have
we're gonna have to
time
Yes.
ban
yesterday.
her. We're gonna have to ban her. I gave that
Yes,
to her
we will.
yesterday. I gave
We
it to her
will.
yesterday. She's had 24 hours.
Well,
Uh,
we talked for how long
Listen,
after
24
You
Pilates?
hours
had
in
24
Italian and
hours.
Arabic. That's a lot of time.
Well, we went to Pilates
We
last
did.
night and got our butts kicked, and
She's a little
then
brutal.
yeah, she was
I'm
brutal.
feeling
Yeah.
it today in
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
that was a hard
abdomen,
workout.
ribbish area.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then we
I
talked in the
bet.
parking lot for a while. Then I went
Listen,
home.
listen,
Had to
listen.
get
That is not an excuse. Get the
Thank
hell
you.
out of
but
here.
that's to prove
You
it
have a
down.
ride. You have a ride home, which
I
is
could.
probably about 15 minutes, and then within that 15 minutes, you could have
At
pulled
a
the backing
stoplight.
off of that sticker at a stoplight and attached it to your water bottle.
Well, I'm a perfectionist. I have to find the perfect placement.
This took 2 seconds, by the way. I did it yesterday morning. I got out my GoPro because I'm going to be taking that on a jet ski. This is not a Yeti, but I do have Yetis. And of course, I'm an Apple person, so I had to get my Apple decal.
Your
There's
Apple.
our Girlfriend Minute decal, and this is her sister-in-law's cookie class decal.
Oh, very cool.
From our
very
cookie
cool.
class.
We'll put a plug in for Seaside.
Yeah. So
In
when we're
Hudson,
trying to be
Florida.
creative and make cookies, we will say no matter what they come out looking like, they are delicious.
Hey, and I bet they are delicious.
My dogs can attest to that.
There you go. There you go.
They've stolen a few, so jerks.
Yes.
Anyways,
Okay.
Crystal's on tonight. She's our little health guru, and she's on tonight for managing blood sugar and, pre-diabetes, diabetes. Now, with that being said, we are not clinically trained or certified in any capacity to say this is what you need to do.
No,
you
so
are
if you need
having
help, go see your
issues,
physician.
Go see your physician. Of course, a lot of people research, so we research too, and Crystal's been researching. She also has testimonies from family members and friends of how they, because it is reversible. So I did a little research myself, and I put factors that contribute to developing type 2 diabetes includes being overweight, not getting enough exercise, and genetics. The exact cause of most types of diabetes is unknown. In all cases, sugar builds up in the bloodstream. This is because the pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin. Sugar doesn't directly cause type 2 diabetes. You are more likely to get it if you are overweight. Estimated prevalence of diabetes in the United States total is 38.4 million people of all ages have diabetes, 11.6% of the population in 2021. 38.1 million were adults 18 years or older, 29.7 million were diagnosed, and 8.7 million were undiagnosed, which is a huge amount.
It is.
And of course, there are people that have the denial factor. 70% of individuals with pre-diabetes will eventually develop diabetes. Most importantly, it is reversible. You have to put in the work.
Yes.
Well,
So-
and that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand the
No.
work that it, needs to reverse it. So,
And so Crystal has some testimonies of family and friends of people who have completely changed their lifestyle to live a healthier, better life
mhm.
and reverse the forward motion of them being either pre-diabetic or becoming diabetic or whatever process or where they were in the stage of it all.
Right.
So that's what we're going to talk about, because we have to, I always wanted to do something where our last podcast is very different than this one. And so
You think?
I wanted a variety and
Yeah.
a podcast. I wanted to share our knowledge, our experiences, and maybe give women ideas to help themselves and people ideas to help themselves. And so we're going to do pre-diabetes. Now, I know my dad was diagnosed with type 2 later in life. He was an alcoholic. I've said it a million times. So he did
Mhm.
himself no favors because he did not quit drinking. I remember him having insulin because I remember when he passed and we cleaned out his refrigerator. It was all the insulin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's been gone since James was 4 months old, which is my son, and my son will be 28 next month. So,
Yeah.
it's been a while. So treatment has come a long way in that time frame.
Yes,
But,
it has.
yes, I knew he was diabetic. Our family doctor had told us because he wanted us to be aware. So it is something that weighs on my mind every year when I do my labs, even though I'm pretty good about everything. My doctor's like, you don't have anything to worry about. You're fine, but it's always going to be there,
Right.
Well,
And
yeah, it's
especially since
genetics.
it's in
Genetics.
your family, and you don't know, was it related to the alcohol or was it his?
Well, like the
Family
thing said, it's typically caused by overweight, not sugar, even though alcohol is sugar. So when you're an alcoholic, all that goes here, and that's fat.
Right.
And so it contributed to the fat, which contributed probably to him becoming type 2.
Right.
Mhm.
But was the sugar and the alcohol the direct relation? No, I believe it was him not taking care of himself. Now, he had your typical belly gut. He
Mhm.
wasn't hugely overweight, but he was overweight probably by 50, 75 pounds, I'm guessing. It's been a
remember
long
his
time.
gut,
His
yeah.
gut, yeah. So, I'm just guessing because I'm really bad with that type of thing, and it's been a long,
Yeah.
long time since he's been alive. So, and even longer since I had seen him. So, it's all about mostly the obesity. So, she's going to start, Crystal's going to talk about.
Yes, and I wanted to, I didn't make any notes for this part, but because it's my own testimony of how I've struggled with blood sugar issues. And I wanted to share that my mom and her siblings and her, I believe her father, I'm not sure, I know he had heart issues. Heart issues and diabetes ran in my mom's family. But growing up, she was diagnosed in her 40s. So she was taking insulin, and I was afraid of needles. And I saw that, and I thought, I don't ever want to have to,
deal with that.
Inject myself with anything. I don't like needles. I don't want that. So I started exercising and trying to get in shape that way. But yet my diet wasn't that healthy back then. I was young. I didn't know any better. But
it's when you could eat anything, and it didn't count.
Well, it kind of scared me a little bit. I think I don't know when this started, but I started having hypoglycemic episodes where what happens is when you eat too many carbohydrates, your blood sugar gets low. Mine never went high. I never really tested it. There's numbers that you can look up if you want to look on the internet and research hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia. That's just telling you like hypo is low, hyper is too high. So I would get shaky. I would feel terrible. I would get moody. It affected my mood. And so I'd have to quick eat something. And the worst offenders for me was like eating grapes, mangoes,
really,
yogurt, things like that were on the high glycemic index.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to look at there is a glycemic index.
Yeah.
It can also depend on your body and how it reacts to certain foods.
Yeah. So you watch your fruits you eat?
I do watch some of the fruits I eat. I mean, if I eat grapes, I'm going to eat it with a meal.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pair it with protein, fat, some other foods. I can't eat grapes by themselves. I can't eat certain foods by themselves. I know from past experience. So anyway, that kind of put me into wanting to learn more about health and wellness. That's kind of started it. Seeing my mom struggle with diabetes and her siblings, and she was one of 8 kids, and she passed away when she was 68. She ended up with dementia, which is also linked to diabetes. If you listen to Dr. David Perlmutter, he'll talk about that, the link between the two.
Well, and your mom struggled a lot with her weight, and
she was obese.
I remember when she was doing Weight Watchers back in the day, and she had a scale, and she would weigh. I remember that when I was at your house as a kid.
She struggled. Once you get diabetes, it's very difficult to lose weight. But there are ways now that people are doing it. They're getting off their medications, and one of those people was my brother, and he shared his testimony. He was very willing to share it with me. It's kind of like a Reader's Digest version, which I like. It's easy to read. So Derek, 2.5 years ago, he was diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure, and he was put on 3 blood sugar medications and 2 blood pressure medications, and also medications to deal with the symptoms of these medications.
So you just keep putting Band-Aids on top of one another.
Yeah. So
essentially, you're not fixing the root of the problem.
Right. So he had 5 medications total between the blood sugar, the blood pressure, and then on top of that, the other medications to deal with the symptoms of those meds. So.
And he was how old?
Well, he's a few years younger than me. I'm 51. He'll be 50 next year. So he's almost 40 now.
Okay. Yeah, so 2.5 years ago from that.
Yes.
Let's just say in his late 40s.
Okay.
So kind of like my mom when she was in her 40s. And then, so what he initially started doing was eating healthier and lifting weights. And then he went full carnivore. This is controversial in some cases. But he went carnivore, just mainly eating beef and eggs. And he also did some intermittent fasting. If you're not familiar with intermittent fasting, that's just waiting longer to eat first thing for your first meal of the day. You can look into that too if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting. It's kind of all over the internet anyway right now. He lost almost 50 pounds and came off all his medications, just going on that carnivore diet. And he's still lifting weights, plus doing cardio like walking and a stationary bike. He's continuing to eat mostly carnivore, but it's modified now. 90% meat, chicken, eggs, Greek yogurt, berries, some vegetables, simple carbs like a piece of bread as fuel for workouts. No sweets.
He doesn't eat any sweets.
He does not eat any sweets.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's. I can tell you when he comes over for family gatherings, he's pretty good about eating on his diet, because what happens when you do go carnivore, you eat just meat and vegetables and a little bit of low glycemic fruit, you don't crave.
You don't crave,
You
yeah.
don't crave it.
The
You
more
don't crave the
protein
sugar,
you
yeah.
don't crave the sugar, you don't crave the snacks. I actually
Yes.
told my coworker what your brother had done, and she's actually currently doing this, and I think she's a month in. She is pre-diabetic. She has probably 60, 75 pounds to lose.
How is she doing so
She's
far, do you know?
tried everything under the
Carnivore.
sun. I'm sure she weighed herself in the beginning. She doesn't disclose that. She's going to see what she is in 3 months.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's better
she
not to
enjoys
weigh
it.
yourself all the time.
no, it's not good, I think, mentally
No.
for you, but
No.
she's doing really well. She comes in with her meat that she cooks at home and stuff, and she's like, it's easy, and she likes it, and she feels good, and she's not snack hungry, and she snacked all the time. The one across from me snacked all the time, so I'm not
Yeah.
hearing the chewing anymore. So it's nice. No, seriously. It's
You're not hearing any of that?
I would send Danny an emoji of
Oh my
something
God, that's
chewing, and
funny.
she's like, "Are your coworkers snacking?" I'm like, "They are."
Yeah.
So but with all joking aside, I'm glad she's doing it, because I hope it makes a difference for her, just how she feels inflammation wise and everything that she
Right.
feels. So
Yeah. So I'm amazed that he's doing so well on this, and he's been doing very well on it for such a long period of time. I think he said that this is the easiest diet that he's ever gone on, that he's been able to maintain.
and it's not really a diet, because he's living his life this
It's a
way.
lifestyle
It is
change
a
for
lifestyle
him.
change.
Of course, he modified it, like I said, and added in berries and vegetables and Greek yogurt and things like that, in addition to the meat, chicken, and eggs. And then he lifts weights 3 to 5 times per week, and he does a minimum of 10,000 steps per day. And then he also does cardio 2 times a week, and he's slowly adding HIIT workouts, which is high intensity interval training, where you do high level, you do get your heart rate up kind of high, you do something that's high intense, and then you go down for a little bit. Like, say you want to run, you can run, at a higher, rate, and then slow down to a jog, and then run fast, something like that. But it
Something
could be anything.
where he's
Bicycling,
fluctuating his.
Yeah, fluctuating. HIIT workouts are very popular too. You can find all kinds of them on YouTube.
So
Well-
Pascal, do you have anyone in your family that struggles with diabetes?
Well, yeah, I do, on both sides of the family, actually. We have my mom had diabetes, my dad has diabetes, my mom's siblings all had diabetes. The last 2 are on the verge of having diabetes, but they're kind of controlling it right now, with watching what they're eating. And they just, I don't believe, could understand what diabetes was, until I tried to explain it to them a little, because, I went to nursing school and stuff, so I was kind of taught all of that. And to them, this is their thinking, and this is back then. Like, if they wanted to eat a little more of something, or if they wanted to eat a little bit of sweets, they would just higher up their injection
Oh.
to cover
What they were.
correct. And I kept telling them, this is incorrect. And I
Don't do that.
no, please don't do that. Please do not do that ever.
Yes.
Because it doesn't cover it. It doesn't do anything, to be honest with you. It does
Right.
absolutely nothing, but possibly could hurt you. So do not do
So-
that.
Are you
So
worried about becoming diabetic because it's so prevalent in your family?
I am worried about it. My sugar's okay right now. I don't eat the way I used to when I was a lot younger. So now, like, I probably eat a lot more vegetables
I would say your
nowadays.
diet's pretty vegetarian because Lebanese food is typically a lot of
A lot of veggies, yeah, pretty
veggies. Yeah,
much it is. The only problem with our diet is we eat a lot of rice and we eat a lot of bread.
the
So
good
for
stuff.
example, yeah, well, for example, if my dad had a pasta dish, of course he would want a ton of bread with it because that's how he ate it,
Yeah,
with our pita bread.
yeah,
So, and then every meal, it's like you need to eat like some form of carb, whether it's
yeah.
bread or potatoes or something or whatever. So, growing up, this is what we had. Plus, we were not, you know, rich. We didn't have too much money. So, what's easier to buy?
Bread,
Things that have a lot of carbs and bread.
carbs.
And yeah, they don't cost a lot
I
of money.
remember my dad always had to have bread, so there'd be a plate on the table, and it'd have stacked slices of bread and butter, so
Yeah.
he could have. And I would have obviously a slice, but he was bigger and he was
Yeah.
eating more, so
Yeah.
yeah, it just
Yep.
went dark
Now
mode.
I've done it. I've done it before where I went, well, it wasn't even actually a diet, but what I did was I changed the way I ate. So in the morning, like around 11 o'clock is when I usually started work. So as soon as I got to work, I would make something for myself. And I did work here at the restaurant. So it was a little bit easier, to make your food. So um, I, ate my breakfast. I took my medicine. I have kidney disease, so that protein
Yes.
thing wouldn't work for me. But
Yeah.
because it's a lot of
The
protein,
protein.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of meat. Um, and I would do that, and then like 2 hours later, I would go and grab some cucumber. I would have a cup of green tea. 2 hours after that, I would sit and I would actually eat my big meal around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Once I ate that, I would have another cup of green tea, and and usually that meal contained a double veggie, some form of protein, whether it was fish or chicken mostly.
Mhm.
Every now and then I threw in a little bit of lamb and a little bit of meat. Um, and then after that, that was my big meal. And then I would stop eating after 7 o'clock. And then if I wanted anything or if I craved anything, I would just make a cup of tea and I would drink that and that would fill me up. And I slimmed down to very good weight. I was very happy with it. It's just until my mom got sick that, you're sitting in the hospital, you have no other option to get food except whatever's there. And it's very limited at the hospital. And then I just started putting the weight back on left and right. And it's so easy to do that.
Oh, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
It is.
every time I go to the doctor, I make sure he checks my sugar just because like I don't want to be in that,
Range where you're.
yeah, in that range where I'm trying to figure out what in God's creation I'm going to eat because my sugar now is high.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching what I'm eating now, and mainly everything is eaten with a fork. And believe it or not, the way my mother found out that she had sugar, she was in her 40s when she had diabetes. She was diagnosed because she ended up getting a yeast infection, something that she never had before, which kind of
Really.
triggered the doctor to check her sugar. And when he checked her sugar, she was already diabetic.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I read people's
Hmm.
labs for scheduling CAT scans, especially with contrast. And based on their age, the radiologists have protocols because
Yeah.
they're legally responsible for the patient on the table. It's their
Hmm.
license. So, the last few days, I've had a lot of people's glucose in their lab results red and triple digits. And I'm like, I hope and they're not on metformin or anything, and they're not listed as diabetic. I'm just like, I hope
Right.
someone's handling this. But people will walk out when you tell them they are diabetic. They don't want to hear
Oh,
it.
they do. They didn't want
They're,
to. They
I'm
don't
in
want to.
denial.
Yes,
Yeah.
my mother was like that. I was there with her on that appointment, and she was like, "What? Like she couldn't believe it. Like I
Yeah.
said, Mom, he's telling you you're diabetic, so we have to go to the doctor and check you out and stuff. No, I'm too young for that. There's no way. I can't be. No,
Too
but you're
young.
really not too young for
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Says
I
you
Yeah.
think
can get it when
it's-
you're small. So
Yeah.
It's interesting how we hear a lot of people get diagnosed in their 40s.
Mhm.
That seems to
I wonder if
be
that's a common factor once you get to that age.
maybe
It
things
could
start to
be.
slow
Well,
down.
your metabolism starts to
Slow-
slow
slow
down.
down.
Yes.
Can't
So
process the sugar as well, maybe too.
well,
And then you
correct.
start
And
putting
then
weight on.
yep.
Let's
And
see.
the more you eat, you know, and if you're not exercising or moving around, it's just going to keep going. So,
Right.
and of course, the more carbs you eat, that's not helping your sugar out either. So, and
No.
carbs are everything. Carbs turn into sugar.
Over 45.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so Shar just found something on the internet. Most people are diagnosed around the age
45.
of 45.
Yeah.
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 So that's
So-
about right.
Yeah, that was around right. That's about right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my mom was around that age. I think she was 48, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she was around that age.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of carbs, I just wanted to mention I've been trying to listen to some other podcasts like Mark Hyman, and I listened to the Health Babes. They just interviewed somebody that talked about blood sugar, and they're saying remember that all vegetables have carbohydrates in them,
Mhm.
just like fruit. And think about sweet potatoes and squash and things like that. They have more carbohydrates. They're probably going to be higher on the glycemic index. If you want to
Mhm.
look that up on the internet, there's also, I think, a chart that you can look at that talks about glycemic load. There's the glycemic load, glycemic index. Of course, like I said, I'm not a scientist or a nutritionist, so I just recommend that you look those things up on the internet to research. find out.
Research and ask your doctor.
Yeah, and ask
Definitely,
your
yes.
Don't play Dr. Google. Research and
Right.
ask your doctor, because I know your mom was really struggling as she got older with the diabetes and side
She
effects
was.
of diabetes. So
Yeah, it's
you
serious.
people lose feet. My friend
Yes.
Laura's father lost a foot. He was diabetic. He ended up losing a foot.
Yes.
Because he started
Well-
having circulation issues and stuff. And it wasn't that he
Yeah.
wasn't, I mean, obviously he wasn't as active as he used to be. He was in his 70s, but he was still, but I mean, and then he was having to deal with that at a later age. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, it attacks your
it's-
organs, it attacks
Yep.
your muscles. Remember, your heart is a muscle.
Yep.
Don't forget that. Your brain is like a muscle too as well.
That's
So
why
like
it can
don't
lead
forget
to
that.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Correct.
Diabetes can
Yeah.
lead to Alzheimer's.
Correct.
And it can lead to mental issues. I tell
Yes.
you, when my blood
I think we
sugar
should test more
dropped,
people.
when my blood sugar dropped, my mood changed. I did not feel good. If you tested me, I'd bite your head off.
Right.
So
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, but I don't
You
Just
don't want to
eat
be
or
bothered.
something.
I
Yeah.
don't have those issues anymore because I know how to manage my blood sugar. I'm doing very well now, and I know if I, splurge on something, oops, it happens very rarely
Well,
now.
You live in life. You have to every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Occasionally,
I mean, when you
I
go
have
on
a
that
treat.
cruise, she has a cruise coming up. This is very exciting.
Yes.
She has a cruise coming up to Alaska.
in a month.
Ooh, I always wanted to do that cruise.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it 2 weeks?
It's in May, the end of
And
May.
how long?
No,
For
I
how
mean,
many
is
days?
it 2
Oh,
weeks?
the length of the cruise is 10 days, but
Yeah, almost 2 weeks. Yeah.
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 So, and I'm going on a cruise in June
Nice.
for 7
So
days.
we gotta
Super
Nice.
excited.
Splurge.
Yeah.
So those are times.
So I'll be
when-
starving between now and then.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people say that they don't understand the difference that being diabetic doesn't mean that you need to stop eating sweets. It just means that it's everything, all your food combined.
You have to
your
adjust
bread.
everything.
Yeah,
correct.
your bread, your pastas, your anything that's white.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be splurging
don't-
on or having a lot of.
I
you
mean,
know.
I eat so lean most of the time that when I have like at work, they do these monthly meetings and they get us this sandwich. The sandwiches are good, but it's so much thick
It's a lot of
bread
bread.
that afterwards I'm just like, ugh, I
Once
feel
you-
Well,
I
yeah.
feel blah.
Yes.
It just tanks me.
And
You
the
know.
bread makes me very tired.
It just makes me feel fat. And so I'm like, what, is there a vegetarian option? And like, oh yeah. So this last week, Tuesday, when I came back to work, I had the vegetarian option. I had they brought me this huge, massive salad with everything on it. Red peppers,
Nice.
green pepper.
Oh,
It was delicious.
good.
It had zucchini, it had squash, it had mushrooms, it had mixed greens, and it was it was
and you
delicious.
probably felt good
Well,
after you ate
see,
it.
I couldn't even eat the whole thing. It was so big,
yeah,
but I
I'm
did
sure.
feel so much better.
Our bread, my bread growing up is a little bit different. So
It
my bread
is.
growing up is not a thick bread. It's a very, very, very thin bread. And if we were going to eat it, we would eat like half of the round bread. It was about like, it's the largest one, I want to say maybe about, I don't know, 12 inches long. And it was more like a wrap. So it's pita bread, but
Okay.
it's not the pita bread that you get from
That we're
the
accustomed
grocery
to.
store.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's like a different type of pita bread. And it really doesn't have that many calories, but obviously it's a carb
Yes.
and you still shouldn't have a lot of it. So yeah, so all of my bread that I've ever grown up with was always small and thin. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That
But
helps.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like the French baguette, the thick breads and all that
Who
stuff
does?
too. So.
If
Yeah.
I'm out somewhere and they bring me bread and olive oil and spices, I'm like,
Oh
dip,
my
dip.
God,
I'll dip a
exactly.
piece versus, 5.
Yeah.
I have one instead of
Yeah.
5.
And there is the big sourdough craze going on right now too.
Oh.
So
Oh
we
my
have
God,
a
there
local
is. I've
lady
seen
here. She makes some amazing sourdough bread, and then the Nature's Food Patch store near us also sells sourdough bread from a bakery in
And
Tampa.
I tell you what,
It is to die for. It's so
sourdough
good.
is a labor of love because
Yes,
to
it
make the
is.
starter and to feed it every day and to keep it warm and snuggy
Yes.
and to take out and put in and every day.
It's like having a baby.
It's kind of worse.
I don't think I
Can't
have time
remember
for
to
that.
turn on the oven accidentally because I'm keeping it in there in its jar, in
Yeah.
its sourdough
Yeah.
jar, and then you gotta mix and beat the tar. Oh, it's a labor
I'm
of
letting
love.
somebody else make it for me.
Yeah, well, I did it once from scratch and I enjoyed it, and I may do it again, but not anytime soon.
Yeah.
So she has another testimony from her cousin.
Yes, my cousin Bonnie, she shared her testimony. She said, "My story is that I spent years asking doctors why questions and would not help me determine the root cause of my issues. After visiting a functional medicine doctor, I learned what was causing my health issues: gluten, dairy, and sugar. The common denominator is sugar. Sugar is found in each of these, and sugar causes diabetes. Diabetes causes other health issues. I'm a ketotarian, meaning she eats a keto diet. I don't eat gluten, dairy, or sugar. I count my carbs daily to under 45 carbs and focus on healthy carbohydrates. Healthy carbs are vegetables, like I said before. After changing my diet, I felt better, I slept better, my hormones improved. Keto is not for everyone. It takes discipline and commitment. Coming from where I was, it simply is not an option to go back."
So again, sugar doesn't cause diabetes, but sugar causes weight gain, which causes diabetes.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yes.
do you want to explain what a functional medicine doctor is?
A functional medicine doctor looks at the whole body versus just one system.
So like a DO or like a homeopathic.
More like homeopathic, naturopathic type doctor, and they look at alternative medicine first. Not that they won't prescribe medications, but they're going to go the alternative medicine route first. Try to do it with natural remedies or supplements or diet changes, things like that. And then if that doesn't work, okay, let's try a medication.
So what I like about my doctor, he's a DO. I've always had DOs, and it wasn't that I picked them out. I just somehow ended up with them. Even as a kid, our family doctor was a DO. So
Same.
a DO is a little more than an MD. And my DO, he's like, if you're managing your depression with herbal remedies and supplements and all that stuff, then so be it. But the minute that stops working, if it stops working for you, I want an email. I want to know, because he's like, I don't want anyone suffering from depression.
That's
but he's never pushed anything.
That's what I like about my DO
yeah.
too. I
So,
like the fact that they're not throwing pills at you. They're
mhm,
like, okay, let's just see what's going on. They kind of talk to you about it. I
yeah.
mean, I've had a great experience with my DOs. So,
Yeah, my DO also knows that I'm not going to do it his way first. So there's that. That
yeah,
helps.
exactly.
He has learned that over the last few years. He's like, okay, well, she's going to do it her way, and then we'll see where we go.
There you go.
There you go.
But I was taking too many oils at one point, and my cholesterol went up some. And he's like, and I'm like, I'll just stop taking. I'm taking too many oils. I know what that is, and I did. And I went back down to just fish oil, and everyone's happy, including him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I recently cut back on some of the oils that I was taking. I felt like I was overdoing it.
I think you can.
Yeah.
My lab said you could.
Yeah, you can. You can overdo it. That's why you got to be careful of,
They were-
what you're
They
taking.
were healthy oils, but still. In
I think your
moderation.
system is yeah. Oh,
Your
yeah.
system's like, listen, I have enough oils, okay, here for you.
We're well
Your
lubricated.
gear,
Everything's
yes,
good to go.
your gear is oiled, okay? So calm down.
Yeah, I was taking everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and then I don't know who this is. So go
This
ahead.
is a friend of yours, Shar. I don't know.
Oh, my Robin.
You're Robin.
Okay,
Yes,
I know
you're
Robin.
from
Hi,
Hi,
Robin.
Robin. If you're listening, we're featuring you here.
Yes.
So
I like
she
Robin.
wanted to share her testimony, and she has reversed her diabetes through healthy eating. She says,
Mhm.
I was diagnosed in the mid 2000s by my then endocrinologist. He had me on a new medication called Byetta, a once daily injection. I never thought to ask him about my A1C until my sister asked me. She was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic as well. It turned into a family history, with both parents being diagnosed a few years later. Anyway, fast forward to 2014, we moved to Florida from California, and I had to find a new MD. The new doc did his due diligence with blood work, found out my A1C was, if I recall, a 6.3, which I believe the limit
It's just
is
a
around
6. It is.
correct?
It's 6.
Mhm.
Yes.
So just a tad high. Yeah.
Right. So she was on the high, and she was right there.
Yeah.
He told me to try changing my diet and exercise more. He did not refill my meds. Well, at the time, I was a full-time volunteer with high school marching band.
My high school marching.
Yes.
Let's go Tarpon.
So my schedule was kind of wonky. When he graduated, her
Son, yep.
I started working. Still not a lot of change in my diet other than not a lot of fast food. I switched doctors to the one I have now. Found out my A1C was 5.8. He reminded me diet was not the only thing that could help me lose weight. At the time, I had put on more weight, 2XL, and I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
I still didn't change a whole lot. About 2 years ago, I started changing my diet at home. While I lost a little, it wasn't significant. Things did not turn around until I started going to Pure Barre a year ago, which is a type of exercise program.
Which is what I was doing with Danny in the garage. Yeah.
Yes. So Pure Barre is what it's called. After 3 months of exercising 3 times a week, my numbers started getting better. As of now, I've been removed from the diabetic diagnosis. My A1C has been normal for 6 months. Oh, and I'm floating between a medium and a large. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My diet
Oh,
has
that
been
is awesome.
Yes. My diet has been consistently been a minimum of 4 nights a week of a big salad with a protein. Having that last meal being light has helped a lot. Breakfast is usually light and lunch is a little heavier, half a sandwich and fruit. That doesn't mean there aren't splurge days. I refuse to starve myself. Starving yourself leads to overeating and feelings of guilt when you don't eat right.
She's right.
Agreed.
Yes.
You have to reward the work, and like last night we did Pilates. By the time I got home, I don't know about you, I didn't eat. I had a big serving of my homemade Hungarian mushroom soup I made over the weekend. I took what was left in a container. It was filled to the brim. It's soup and mushrooms. So I mean, it's not like and some onions. I mean, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't use cream. I used almond milk. I made it healthier. And that's all I had all day. Was that and I had some dried blueberries, raspberries, and cranberries as a
You weren't
snack.
hungry?
I actually wasn't because when I do Pilates, it totally kills.
You know what it does? It makes your stomach so sore you feel like you're full.
That you don't want to eat anymore.
Exactly.
The muscles are like, we're good.
Yeah. Well, just to
She was brutal last night. I am sore today, and I'm dreading tomorrow
Oh,
because
I bet.
I sneezed at work once today. I was like, oh, I
Yes.
was like,
You feel
ouch.
something you never
And then
felt
you hear my
before.
coworker laugh because she knows exactly what's happening.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, when I got home last night, I just had a piece of this. I have this bread that's made from almond flour.
Mhm.
It's very, very low carb, and it's got egg in it and flaxseed. I just made a piece of toast with that with almond butter. I wasn't very hungry either.
Yeah. I'm not generally not
No.
hungry after we do Pilates.
After exercise, I used to walk on the treadmill like all the time. So I would grab my bottle of water and what have you, and then I would walk on the treadmill at least 45 minutes every day. I used to do that, and I was, to be honest, never hungry after I got
Yeah,
done
it just
exercising. It
kills.
took me a couple hours, and then I
Yeah.
ate.
Yeah.
But just to let our listeners know, if in case you don't know what an A1C test is, it's also known as a hemoglobin A1C or an HbA1c test. It's a simple blood test that measures your average blood sugar level over the past 3 months. And it goes by age group. So each age group has a certain level to what they can reach. Obviously, the older you get, the little more percent that they give you a little bit extra because your body has changed. But you guys can, like Google that or ask your physicians. They'll be able to explain it a little bit more to you. But it measures your it measures your blood sugar over the 3 months and gives you a number.
And
So
then, of course, when you're diabetic, that is a regular test for you.
it is, yes.
It is.
Yes.
They actually are testing your A1C all the time. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that. Well, I guess if you're pre-diabetic, they also would.
They would look
test
at that and hope
for
that you
sure,
make the
yeah.
changes and stuff.
Yeah,
I've
for sure.
never had an A1C test.
My functional medicine doctor does a different test than what your normal conventional doctor does. It's some kind of insulin blood test. It's different than fasting glucose. I believe they check that too, but there's another number they can look at, something to do with insulin, and I would have to look it up. I'm not quite sure.
Interesting.
What it's called. I can't remember, but she always says mine looks good for considering that I have a history of diabetes on my mom's side. It's the Shook curse. That was my mom's maiden name. So we call it the Shook curse.
So, and I know that both your brothers work hard at keeping it at bay.
Yeah, my other brother, he's also following a healthy diet. He chooses to eat.
He's vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it changed his life, he said. So,
yes.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different of what you choose to eat. I have to have protein, so I cannot go all vegetarian or just eat beans and lentils. I get headaches.
Right.
Well,
if I don't drink enough fluid, I get headaches, and if I don't eat enough protein, I get headaches.
Well, for me, what my thinking is because I like to eat food.
I do too.
Can you tell? No, I'm just kidding. But it's not about that. It's about I want to maintain my Mediterranean diet or my Lebanese diet. So what I did was just incorporated those diets. I incorporated them with my life. And so I used them in accordance to whatever I was eating that day. For example, if I had 2 veggies, I would make one like a salad, and then the other one would be whatever Lebanese item that I chose that's a vegetarian item. So I just kind of incorporated my eating habits with my life habits.
Yeah, and I discovered too, if I eat a big lunch, like if I go across the street to the hospital, I have them make me a burger with the lettuce and the tomato and the onion, and it's fresh. They make a good burger at that hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a wheat bun, and I don't always eat the whole bun. I take it off as I go. But if I eat that, I am full. I don't eat dinner. I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm done. And so, I'm like, yeah, y'all fend for yourselves. I'm out.
I can't tolerate wheat anymore. I grew up on wheat bread, but it just makes me really tired and lethargic. So I don't really eat anymore.
You've changed. Yeah.
To it.
I
think my body's like, nope.
You don't need that. You don't need that. And then this is a girl we went to school with. Her next testimony.
Teresa.
Do you remember Teresa, Pascal? Blonde.
I don't know.
It's hard to remember. That was how many years ago?
Stone Cipher.
Oh, yes.
That's who this is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, just so you all know, she had a
stroke.
So
have you seen that, Pascal, on Facebook
Oh,
when she had her
no.
stroke?
So she volunteered to give her testimony. And so some of the wording is hard to follow, so I'm going to read it the best I can. She says, I'm a type 2 diabetic. Now, testimony was given a few months back. I started collecting testimony, so the dates of this is not recent. She says, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and I have had a stroke from COVID. So I've been making slow changes to eating lately. And then tomorrow, she said, I'm riding with my friend to Georgia to meet her daughter to have her wedding dress measurements and fitting. So my friend, she's great at packing snacks. She'll have cheese, boiled eggs, and a lunch bag to have a snack while we're out, so we don't have to pull through a drive-through. That's smart.
That's smart. Yeah.
They had snacks already, especially eggs and cheese. That's really good protein there. And I either juice or make some smoothies. So tomorrow I made up snacks for us to take. I'll make a strawberry smoothie, plus have snacks for her and everyone. I have cuties, yogurt with cherries and blueberries in it, walnuts, pecans, and cheese. So we have more healthy snacks. They also told me, I guess she's talking about her doctor or whoever she's following, to take on an anti-inflammatory diet, but I don't like vegetables. I can't get them down except corn and green beans, lettuce, spinach, or spring mix for salads. I can't get vegetables swallowed, and since the stroke, I definitely can't get them down because my throat closes a lot. But I can juice vegetables and fruit and make it anti-inflammatory, and there are a ton of recipes online for them. I'm really proud of this girl. I mean, she's
come a long way in a few years of have a stroke. I mean, that's a lot to overcome, especially at a young age, because she's our age. She's our age. Yes.
Yeah. And the fact that she's like, I can't swallow them, but she doesn't give up. She juices them. So
she's still getting them.
Well, any type of diet or any type of thing disease that you're trying to avoid, it takes work. And if you're not willing to put the work into it, it's not going to be beneficial. So you have to make it a life change rather than just something that I'm going to do because I have to do it. You have to accept it and acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it and accept it, it's not going to work.
Right.
That's just like those, I'll give you an example. One of my cousins, she had a stomach bypass surgery so that she can get thinner. So, before you have that, they usually put them through a counseling to make sure that they're aware that they need to be on a diet, you need to eat the right foods. Sometimes they will actually tell you need to lose this many pounds before we can go ahead and do the surgery for you. So because she did not really learn how to eat, she did not.
She didn't follow through.
She followed through. She lost the weight, but she's not. After a while, your body gets used to whatever you're eating. So if you're eating junk, you're eating sugar, you're eating all of that stuff, you're putting all that back on, you're going to gain the weight back up. You're going to stretch your stomach and all of that weight's going to come right back on. So when you didn't learn how to eat from by the time you did your surgery, you're not really going to benefit out of it. If people think, oh, it's a quick thing, I'll just do it and I'll get thin and all this, and it's not.
They don't realize there's more work involved other than just having the procedure done.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
So.
Well, she had a little bit more here at the end that she said. She says sometimes I'll have to juice spinach, kale, orange, apple, carrots, and I can get them down that way. I've learned it can be just small changes a little at a time to bring about healthier changes. My A1C has come down a lot and my weight is slowly coming down too.
And that's kind of what I've always said, even though I've never been unhealthy in a way that I've been pre-diabetic or anything like that. I always have to make a small change and stick to it. I can't change 50 things at once. It's overwhelming.
Correct.
And then and then you feel like you're torturing yourself. So if I do one or two things that I decide are reasonable for me, and then I move on to the next, and I move on to the next.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And you have to like do it a little bit at a time. You can't do everything at one time because then what's going to happen? You're going to give up and you're going to be like, oh, screw
Yep.
this. I ain't
It's
doing
too
it
much
anymore.
work.
Yeah,
So
it's too much
when you
work.
do a little bit at a time and do it in portions where it's easier for you to deal with, it becomes not work. It becomes
habit.
routine, and it
Yes.
becomes a healthy habit and a
Yes.
lifestyle change. And it
Correct.
totally, like I have a friend and he doesn't drink. He only drinks one night a week, and it's usually a Friday or Saturday, and that's it. If he drinks Friday, he doesn't drink Saturday. He doesn't drink Sunday. If he drinks Saturday, he didn't drink Friday, and he's only having a few beers. It's not like he's, versus partying days where they drink beer every day, stuff like that. Have that one reward, and it's the little things, the little changes for each individual person.
No. I never say no to something that I want to eat, but I don't eat it every day, and I don't even eat it every week. Right. I eat it every once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And
but you have to have control. So
you control, and you
very
have
important.
to really truly want to do it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Truly want to do it. And then you have one more.
Yeah, this one's short and sweet. This is my cousin Sherry. She started out with an A1C of 5.4, which is considered pre-diabetic. At the time, I was doing the Weight Watchers plan. With diet management and weight loss, my A1C came within normal range in a year or less. I focus on portion control, some exercise, and limited sweets and carbs. That's it in a nutshell.
That really is it in a nutshell. Now, I did Weight Watchers a long time ago, and my doctor's like, you're kind of chunky for your build, but I wasn't considered obese just for my build, and he had known me since I was 3. So he wanted me to take off 20 pounds. I took off 35. With that being said, when you make Weight Watcher meals, you're substituting synthetic stuff.
Yes.
And I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not. If I'm going to have sugar, I'm going to have fruit.
I'm going to have the sugar.
Or I'm going to have the sugar if I'm making cake.
I'm not going to have the fake sugar. No, I'm not.
Have the fake sugar. I'm not going to.
That was the thing about Weight Watchers.
Yes.
You could kind of eat what you wanted, but you knew, if I eat that, that's going to be.
Well, they have you substitute for some things that are not so healthy choices.
Right. I wouldn't consume artificial sweetener and things like that.
Some of the recipes and stuff had some of that, and I thought, what am I doing?
No.
Yeah.
Just, I'm substituting. It's like why people like, well, I drink Coke Zero. Okay, what makes it zero?
Right. Nothing. Like, come on, let's look and see the ingredients, what they have in it.
You're better off having a real Coke.
They have that phenol cat
whatever
something,
it is,
whatever it is.
That you can't even pronounce, don't even really know what it is you're drinking. And, you preserve yourself really well when you pass. If you drink too much.
Exactly. No kidding. No, like you said, if I'm in the mood to have a soda, I'm going to have that soda. I may not have a whole 12-ounce can of soda, which luckily they make the little tiny ones now. They do. And I just need that taste on my tongue for just that moment, and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to love soda. It's too sweet now. I can't do it.
I'm all about water now.
Yeah. We used to drink diet for special occasions for parties, and then when we found out about
what makes it diet
and all the chemicals and how bad it is for you.
Well, do you know? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that it's a neurotoxin. I said,
yes.
Okay, we're not having that anymore.
That's right, because aspartame will attack your neurological system, and then it will knock it down.
Yep.
And there's tests on that. I've read so many things about that, and it's like one day you're okay, the next day you can't even get up and walk because you've had so much damn aspartame.
Yep. So and it happens like that. It's not necessarily a slow thing.
No.
And it's a chemical, people.
It's
a chemical.
It is.
So
just have the real stuff.
So I have a coworker, and when it's her turn to bake, if it calls for 2 cups of sugar, and I'm just rounding up for sake of whole numbers, she's like, I only put in 1.5.
Yeah.
That's good.
Take that half out.
amongst the whole cake. I'm like, what is
Yeah,
it?
just
put it
freaking
the
throw
other
it
half.
in. Throw it the
I'm
hell
not eating
in.
the whole half. It's divided amongst the whole cake.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Substitute coconut sugar.
Well,
It's a
I
little
have
healthier,
lately. I have lately. I'm like, I started using coconut sugar. Turned the filling of my surprise cupcakes a little different color, and I was a little concerned. But everyone's like,
Yeah.
if you didn't tell me, I would have never noticed the difference. I was like, okay,
That's
well,
good.
I should
Didn't
just shut
change
my
the
mouth.
taste.
But yeah, I'm like, that half a cup in that whole sheet pancake doesn't matter because I'm not eating that whole half a cup.
No,
She's
you're
looked
not
at
because
me.
you're not eating all of
Because
it.
she's like, oh.
No, but you're right. I mean, even
You're
whatever
not-
cups of sugar that you put
She's so
in
funny. I love
whatever
her.
you're putting, whatever
Yeah.
dessert, that doesn't mean you're eating the whole 2 cups or 3 cups of
No,
sugar.
it's spread out
Well,
amongst
she
the whole
was
thing.
trying to lower the sugar content overall.
If I'm eating cake,
Give her some credit.
I'm eating cake.
Yeah, I agree. If I'm gonna
I've
eat,
done that
if I'm gonna
before.
eat an eclair, I'm eating the whole fucking eclair. That's it. I'm done with that.
I mean, I only eat cake a few times a year, so guess what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll make those cupcakes, I'll take them into work for events, and I don't even take one.
I know. Well, you know
I
what? As long as I've been working
give
here
them
in the
all out.
restaurant, I lose my appetite. Like I
I
don't
would
want any
imagine you
food.
do. You're looking
I
for
don't
the-
want anything, but
Yeah.
you know,
Did
people,
you-
it's not good not to eat anything either. You need to eat. Plus,
boil
if you
some
want to
eggs.
lose weight, you need to
You need
eat.
Can't
Yes.
starve your body.
Right.
No.
Because then your body will.
Starve.
Store
Yeah.
it.
And
It
it's
will
storing
store
it
it.
because it thinks it's starving. So
Well, it will store it as energy, and
yep, because
where
it thinks
where
it's starving.
right, and
Yep.
what's energy? Where does it come from? Sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there it stores it as that, as
Mm-hmm.
sugar. So then what happens? It spikes up your sugar, and then you become pre-diabetic. If you continue.
Coconut sugar per crystal.
Yeah.
Coconut sugar
But not
per
too
crystal.
much. But still, you don't want to go overboard.
Well, I
either
just
with that.
substitute the coconut sugar for what the regular sugar recipe is because baking is a science and I don't mess with the baking. So
Right.
yeah, so
You just still don't want to go overboard. of
no,
course.
I
You're
just
not gonna
follow the
eat like,
recipe.
oh, if there's
I'm not
coconut sugar,
eating
I
the
can eat
bag
3
of coconut
cupcakes.
sugar.
No.
Cupcakes today.
Well, someone could, if they wanted to, but that's on them.
Exactly.
So Crystal has a little bit more notes.
Yes, I was listening to the Glucose Goddess. So she's on Instagram. You can look up Glucose Goddess if you're interested in learning more about her. I believe she's from France. I just listened to a podcast with her. She was interviewed by, I believe it was Mark Hyman. He's one of the top guys in the health field, functional medicine, very well known. But she's got some hacks, as she calls them, to try to help with your blood sugar. So the first one is have a savory breakfast, not a sweet one. So don't start your morning with
Pancake.
oatmeal and pancakes.
I
People
like
think-
sausage and eggs and bacon.
There you go. Sausage,
Me
eggs,
too.
and bacon.
And fruit.
Yeah.
Savory
Yes.
breakfast. Of course, some fruit's okay, but
Crystal's saying that, and one time we went to breakfast a few months ago, I had chocolate and pancakes. Ow, my abs.
her abs are hurting. from
Oh my
Pilates.
God.
You can't laugh that hard.
Yeah, I guess not.
See? Laughing is a workout for your abs.
It is.
Try it. Oh boy. So yeah, start out in the morning with a savory breakfast. It doesn't always have to be eggs. It could be I like Greek yogurt, and I'll mix it. My brother actually gave me this idea. Take Greek yogurt. He gets the fat free. Not that we're against eating healthy fat, but that's one of the things he does eat fat free. So I thought, let me try it. I purchased a big container of it at Costco, and you can mix protein powder with it. Because Greek yogurt's already high in protein, plus add some protein powder to
I
it.
just don't like yogurt.
Yeah.
Don't
you have to, like,
I can't
love it.
stand it. However, at Nature's Food Patch, in their little refrigerated section in the back wall there where there's butter and stuff, and they have that coconut yogurt in a jar.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. It's sticky, so it's kind of stringy like melted cheese when you're eating it. That I'll eat.
Okay.
It's also very expensive, which is
Well,
why
if
I
it's on sale, I'm
seldom
gonna have to-
buy it, but it's
I'm gonna
good.
have to
Yeah,
try it.
we
like
used to
it.
make homemade yogurt, so we would make our own yogurt, and we would just add fruit to whatever my mom made, whatever yogurt she made. Yeah.
Maybe
And then
try
we would
homemade
take-
yogurt.
Yeah, it's
I'm
easy. It's not difficult to make yogurt. It's simple. You could
Yeah.
do it in your what do you call that? One
Your
of those
Instant Pot.
Instapot. Yes,
Yeah,
they have
Instapot.
everything.
Yes.
Oh, and it
Really?
works so good.
Yeah,
It
you
works.
can make it in an Instapot.
I've done
I've
it.
never made it.
Well, if I could make the coconut version in Instapot, I would.
You
I'll
probably
have to look
could.
up a recipe.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
because
probably could.
I do like that. That's really good. And then you
Mhm.
add goji berries or something.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that
Yeah.
would be good.
Go
Well,
on.
and
Sorry.
then we took some of that yogurt and then we created like a almost like a cream cheese out of that yogurt. We put it in a bag and we let it hang so that all the water dripped. Like we put it in one of those what do you call those bags? Like a cheesecloth
Cheesecloth.
bag. Yeah. And then we would just let it hang, and after it was done, it was nice and creamy, and then we would use that like in our breakfast and
Really?
stuff. Yeah, and we put olive oil on it. It's
Pascal,
really
Dad,
good.
we're gonna have all our
You
cheese
gotta
bags
train
hanging.
us how to make
Yes, it's very good.
Okay,
It's
so
really
yeah.
good.
Well, you remember the good old days when you started your morning with Rice Krispies and corn flakes and cereal and orange juice. That's the worst breakfast to have. Don't start your morning with a bagel
I like hearing
with
snap,
cereal.
crackle, pop.
Or orange juice. Orange juice
And
is full of
orange
sugar.
juice. Just eat
Yes.
the fruit
Yes.
itself.
Yeah.
So, and then her second hack is start all your meals with a vegetable starter for the fiber. When you eat fiber first, that will help slow. She didn't say this, but I heard it on the podcast. She said that will slow the digestion.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, start. So remember, when you get your plate, eat the vegetables first.
Yes.
Okay. And then she advises have a tablespoon of vinegar in water before eating a high starch or sugar meal.
What does that do?
She explained it. I don't know that I'm going to be able to explain it as well as she did. That's why I'm going to link the podcast on your Girlfriend Minute page, because she talks about how it slows digestion. It helps to keep the food from just hitting your bloodstream as quickly. Something in the vinegar, it has acetic acid, is what she was saying, and that's how it works. So, at some point during the day, have a tablespoon of vinegar, and I advise if you have vinegar, I would put it in some water and drink it down. She said any vinegar. It doesn't have to be apple. I have apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hate apple cider vinegar.
I love red wine vinegar.
Thank you.
Whatever one you can. She said, you know what? If you want to have vinegar on a salad, that's doing both of her hacks together.
Oh. And that's I used to do
that's
that.
what I do. I do that.
Vinegar,
Yep, with a salad with vinegar on it. There you go. You're hitting two of those hacks at once. And this one, I don't remember her saying this on the podcast, and I might have missed it, but she said, put clothes on your carbs. And I know what she means by this. Put clothes on your carbs. I know it sounds funny.
It does.
So,
how do you put clothes on
your carbs? If you're eating a carbohydrate, you clothe it with something else. You pair it with something that's got protein or fat. When you eat an apple with almond butter, you're clothing it with something else.
Oh.
If you're eating pasta and you put olive oil on it,
you're clothing it with
something that's going to help to slow the digestion down.
Gotcha.
Of that food, of that carbohydrate. And then she says, move your body for 10 minutes after eating. Don't just go sit on the couch. After dinner, we're usually busy making our lunch for the next day for work. We have to get a shower, get ready, do certain things. And so
I'm usually washing the dishes.
Yeah, washing dishes. So to me, that's
I do a little bit of everything. You know, once I ate dinner, we used to walk the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, all the time. We don't do that so much anymore, but yeah, I do laundry. I do clean up the kitchen. I do.
In my house,
things.
we didn't believe in a dishwasher in my house. So the dishwasher was just used as storage.
Pascal.
Yes, ma'am. It was storage. So everything was done by hand.
Yeah, people did. Yeah. Wow. My mom did a lot of things by hand. And I don't know that the dishwasher was ever really ran. It was used for storage, wasn't it, back then?
Yes. It was used for Tupperware and whatever else. My mother hid her cigarettes in there. You know, like they're not hidden, Mom. Like we know they're in there. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Today, day and age, because I got tired of doing dishes. I live off of paper plates. I
So
cook in
yes,
cast
we do
iron.
too.
I
Yes.
cook in cast iron, so that doesn't go in the dishwasher. Now I use real knives and forks and spoons, and all that goes in the dishwasher, and real cups and all that. But for dinner, it's on a paper plate. I'm pitching. I'm done.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
let
Every
the
once in a
environmentalists
while.
hear you.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
every once in a
environmentalists.
while when
Because
we're
I'm either
like,
running water in the
Yes.
dishwasher and I'm using detergent, or I'm doing this, or I'm
Right.
doing
You're
either
still
way,
using
you're
something.
still using something, and I'm
well,
sorry.
plus
They should
everybody's
burn all that
working.
stuff or whatever. But yeah, I just, it's
Everybody's
just,
working. You're tired. Like, come on. When you get home, you
but
don't want to be
I,
stuck doing dishes for 2 hours.
you know,
No.
some people's goal in this house is to use every pot and pan and dish all at
Oh my
once.
God, yes.
And I'm just like, I don't even know how this happened.
Oh.
I left with a spoon and a cup in the sink this morning because the dishwasher's clean, because I before I go to bed, the dishwasher's always loaded, and I run it when I go to bed because I
Yeah.
cannot sleep with a sink full of dirty dishes. I hate it. And there are times that I
Yeah.
just thought I'll just let them be and see what happens. Well, what
Yeah.
happens is they pile up and they overflow onto the counter. So then I stuck doing them anyway. So one thing I eliminated was the plates. I do have plates. They're white. I use them for people that come over, but for us, paper plates.
You
And you
solved
get a
the
different
problem.
pattern for every holiday.
I like
Yeah.
it. I
Very
like it.
festive.
Very.
Yeah.
And I get a big old stack of them at Costco for like $20.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we do that. We do that from
Yeah.
Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? And you get like 200 plates, and I'm not washing. And then there are nights where I don't have enough dishes to wash, like if I didn't make dinner or something.
Well, yeah, and you're not
And I
gonna
just have
run
my
it.
cup in there and a few. I don't run it, and then the paper plates in the trash. I'm not worried about it. We're
Exactly.
done. We're
Right.
done.
Exactly.
And then I'm saving all that water that would have normally ran. So that
Yeah.
happens once a week, probably maybe twice. But yeah, so I'm into paper plates. People are like, well, you know what? Are you in my house? No, I
Like,
do. I eat off paper plates because it makes my night a little easier.
absolutely.
And unless
Absolutely.
you want to come over and do my dishes for me every night, guess what?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we usually go through our plates before we run the dishwasher, and then we're like, oh, let's just use some paper plates. And
Yeah.
we do. We kind
Yeah,
of
but you gotta
alternate.
keep moving, So
Yes,
especially
so
after
keep
you've
moving.
eaten a big meal, I mean, you're not gonna want to be sitting on the couch like a lump on a log. A lot of people will, like
Right.
you said, Shar, get up and take a walk or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
you want to move. So yeah, she was really interesting. Glucose Goddess. Highly recommend you follow her on Instagram and find her
Especially
page.
for people who are struggling
Yeah,
Yes.
she's
with
got some really
weight
good
and
advice.
pre-diabetes and diabetes and want to really figure out how to get off, look it up, because there might be some helpful tips. Maybe reach out
Yes,
to
definitely.
her. She might be able to guide you a little bit.
You could probably send her a direct message on Instagram.
Yeah.
She had another good tip that she said in the podcast, and maybe it kind of goes. It kind of goes along with these hacks. Is when you eat a meal, not only start with the vegetable, she said, and then eat the meat, the protein, the fat, whatever it is. If you're vegetarian, of course, I guess that would be the beans, and then the last thing should be your starch. Now, that's kind of hard if your meal is combined, like say you're eating spaghetti. I'm like, well, you can't really do that with certain
That's
meals.
so
But
funny
if
you
you
say
do have
that.
that option, start with your vegetable, then your meat, your protein and fat, and then go to your carb. Though.
Okay. Well, so here's the thing. I like that. So here's the thing.
I was going to say the only problem with that is the restaurants bring the bread first. What do you do?
They
with the
do.
restaurants?
They do, don't they? That's my
We-
favorite part.
So I will say, her saying eat the veggie first at home. I will do baby broccoli or something. Okay.
The broccoli is good for you. It's got lots of vitamins,
Yeah, it does. And so I will do the broccoli, and so it's the steam in the bag, baby broccoli, the fresh section of Publix, and then I put it in the cast iron with olive oil and butter, and I season it with garlic and salt and pepper and maybe some hot pepper flakes. Just
That
depending.
sounds good.
It's really good. It's really easy. You're saving cooking time. Also, that cast iron skillet on low heats up in seconds, so you got to be diligent because you will burn it, as I have learned the hard way, which is why I don't do bacon Sundays in the cast iron skillet, because we are not friends with bacon in the cast iron skillet. But I will sit there and I'm starving and I'm waiting for the meat to be done, and I will eat my portion of that broccoli. So I eat less meat when it comes out because I love the baby
So you're already
broccoli.
doing that.
But I just do it because I'm starving, and I'm like, well, I'm the only one here, so, so no one's gonna know. I'll eat my veggie while I wait for the meat, and it helps control how much you're eating. You're still getting some protein, maybe not as big a piece.
But it's the fiber that's helping you.
It's the fiber that's helping, and I'll eat the smallest piece of chicken, or typically what I do on Friday nights, just because it's easy and I don't really want to cook, I'll do the broccoli and I'll do a meatloaf, and I'll have a small end of the meatloaf, and then I'll have the broccoli first, and I'm good. I'm happy all night. And
a lot of times we don't eat a carbohydrate at dinner.
I don't.
Our carbohydrate, I guess you could say, is we end with a piece of chocolate, and then I have a cup of tea with local raw honey, and I try just to have a little bit of honey. Kind of helps. It seems to be helping my allergies this season. So
when people get snack hungry, and I had asked you, what do you use to curb that? I want something snacky or sugary, and you said something like with spice or something with. I have those gingins at work.
Oh, I eat
those.
Gingin
I order the
lunch.
big bag on Amazon. Those suckers are handy.
And I just got a 1 pound bag of Gingins because I was thinking of you talking about that, but you said you get it on Amazon.
On Amazon, and
I put a lot of pepper on my salads and stuff, like when I'm eating and my food. That way I don't put too much salt to higher up my blood pressure, and then I'm not adding anything.
Pepper's good for your arteries.
Yes.
It's good for your arteries and stuff. But if you're getting snack hungry, the way to get rid of that sugar craving, or I want that sweet craving, unless you're doing a dark bitter chocolate, is to do like a Gingin candy. They're not really a candy. They're really chewy. When everyone's like, can I have one? Can I try one? I'm like, hold on to your dentures. And like, I don't have dentures. I'm like, well, that's not the point. The point is hold on to your teeth. Yeah, is literally what I'm saying. And matter of fact, I'm out and I need to order some, but I order the big bag on Amazon, and I just reach down.
Chimes brand. I got the Chimes ones because I saw that they were a little better than the Gingin brand. The Gingin has a little more sugar.
I usually eat some cottage cheese and peaches, and that kind of like
that's good.
is enough for me for as far as sugar stuff goes.
Yeah.
For me anyway, or I'll grab like a fruit or something.
Right. That's good. I've been eating a lot of I think I said in the last podcast we're increasing how many hard-boiled eggs we eat now. Well, I'm always making hard-boiled eggs. Now my husband, he wants them every day. We both take 2 a day, so we're buying a lot of eggs.
Oh, I go through a lot of eggs. Yeah. And when I decide that's going to be my lunch, they're only 70 calories, a hard-boiled egg. I take 2. Mm-hmm. I might have a piece of cheese with it, and then I'll have like a banana, which is why I'm called Banana at work. I'll have a banana, sometimes an orange or an apple or a pear, and I have that somewhere in the middle of mid-morning, like 10:30.
So you're eating the 2 eggs and then the fruit at the same time?
No, I'm just typically eating the fruit around 10:30 to 11.
Your carbohydrate.
I am not. Yeah, but
I'm gonna give her a hard time. You need to get some clothes on that.
I'll get some angry texts later. And
I eat cucumbers with my eggs.
Some almond butter. It's called Chimes, the Gingins that I purchased. Gingin's a brand name of ginger candy, but there's a brand called Chimes, and I got a 1 pound bag of those.
Oh, you know what else I would make? I would make a smoothie also. Like if I get really, really craving like a lot of sugar, I'll make like a really good smoothie. Like I'll get cucumber, a half of those English cucumbers, and a little bit of water, some ginger, and pineapple, and I'll mix all that up and I'll just drink that.
Yeah, there you go.
Less sugar, you said?
Yeah, I think the Chimes has less sugar. Char's shopping on Amazon as we're talking.
Sorry. I'm ordering Gingins.
Okay. But yeah, brand. So anything to lower your sugar intake is good. Right. And watch your carb intake for sure.
Yeah. So if you're gonna eat, you know how when you have sometimes like if we've done this, but it's been a long time. I hardly ever buy potatoes anymore, just because it just doesn't it's just too many carbohydrates.
Mhm.
It's hard to control my weight when I eat them, but if you ever wanted, craved a potato, make some chili and put it on top of the carbohydrate,
So
on top of
when
the potato.
I do a potato, I fill it with stuff. So I'll do ground beef and
Yes.
onion and
Oh,
other
I like
things and
that.
do a mixture. And then
Yeah.
I take out the potato and I mix it in and I throw it back in and add some cheese and stuff. And I mix it in. There's stuffed baked
So
potatoes.
now you're clothing your carb when you do that.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I had a recipe finally that made her happy.
Yes.
So, but I've been doing that for I don't know how many years now. We've been doing that. So it's like I just want a potato and I just
Well,
want
it's
it
a
full
meal.
of meat.
Yeah, it's great.
And it doesn't even have to be the biggest potato. It can be the smallest potato, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy.
That's a good example, though. I like to give people ideas of things that they can do at home and make it easy.
Well, it's funny. What I used to do is when I was watching my carbs and I was adding potatoes to my meals, I would get a smaller, not even a medium, like a less smaller than a medium. And then I would just cut it up into 10,000 pieces. And then it would look like it was a lot, but in reality, I wasn't eating that much.
Well, and then another thing is I like sweet potatoes. And if you go to Publix in the produce section, they have a steamer bag of small sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll have a small one. I'll steam them. And I'll
Yes,
have
with
a
brown
small
sugar
one.
and marshmallows. And no, I'm just
No.
kidding.
No, I don't do that.
Don't do that, people.
I'm just kidding.
She jumped right in. She was like, that's how I eat mine. Anyways, I know people that do that. No, I don't. I actually don't do that. I just drown it in butter and I might sprinkle plain organic cinnamon on it and that's it. But and then I can take a small one to lunch with a piece of it and that's all I have.
Oh yeah, cinnamon's good too for you.
Yeah,
And
your
it-
digestion.
That,
Yeah.
That would probably not be good for a diabetic, though. They probably need to pair
No,
it with
not
some kind of protein.
Yeah, but they could, and it's just an easy way to have.
And then eat that sweet potato with the butter on it, so that way it's
Yep.
got some kind of healthy fat on it
Yep.
to keep it from just hitting.
That's
your
my
bloodstream
theory.
like
Has
that.
nothing to do with. I just like butter.
Yeah.
I love butter.
Real butter. Real butter. I don't cook with. Yeah, it's always real
Yeah.
butter every day. So I mean, we were just talking food, but yeah. So you just have to again, speak to your doctor. We are not doctors, but
Right.
we do
Yes.
have life experiences. I know I am careful with what I eat because
Yes.
my dad was the only diabetic in the family. I'm going to say it's because he was an alcoholic.
Probably.
You
And
know.
in my family, it was my mom, her sisters, her brothers, her parents. It was everybody.
It was
And
everybody.
It's the curse of the family and cousins and.
Yeah,
I've
and
had-
speak to your doctor and do what's best for your body. Everybody's body is different. Your body may be more accepting of certain things where another person's body is accepting of other things. So,
Yeah.
Try it out for yourself. If you don't-
Research and ask questions.
Yes.
Don't play Dr. Google.
No, please don't, because Dr. Google can take you down lots of alleys.
There's a lot of
And
things
you don't
that
wanna
go
go there.
into medical treatment. It's not just a straightforward answer. So people
Right.
Google stuff and they think my doctor said this, but I don't believe him because I found this. No.
It's just a textbook, like
Online.
version.
Sure,
Yeah.
can eat a sweet potato with butter for lunch and be fine for me because of so many.
Well, I have a stick of cheese.
Oh, okay, that helps. I don't know though if I could survive on that because I think my blood sugar might be affected by it. Now, if I had cheese, it might be okay.
I
But-
do.
So that's why we say everybody's different. And,
Yes.
There's
Or
certain
you could do a
fruits I can't
hard-boiled
eat.
egg with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I typically do try to keep my lunches small. Like yesterday, I just had the soup, and then I went and worked out with her at Pilates, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah.
thicker soup too, so they call it a soup, but the sauce that I made for it, it really wasn't soupy. It was almost like a stew.
Yeah.
I sent Danielle a picture just because we share pictures of food that she's trying. Tonight she made homemade ramen. I like ramen. I just typically don't eat pasta or noodles.
A
So,
lot, yeah. We make spaghetti, but oh my gosh, when my husband and I eat, it lasts us like 3 or 4 nights. We're eating spaghetti every night, but then I'm thinking this is a lot of pasta. I'm eating several nights in a row, so
Yeah.
I need
Just
to
send her
add
a
some
picture.
cheese on top of that pasta
well, maybe I didn't
along
send her
with
a
the ground
picture.
beef.
Maybe I sent it to someone else. Hold
You
on.
sent it to me. It was nice. It was like
Did I send it to you?
yes, it was.
Next person.
You're right.
There we
It's
go.
like
It's not a
it's like
stew.
a stew.
It's
Oh, it does look
thicker.
like stew.
Yeah. And I just mixed baby Bella mushrooms and white mushrooms because that's all they had at the store at the time. I used almond milk. It was, I think, a tablespoon of flour or something.
Yeah.
And it was really good. It's Hungarian, so it has a little different flavor to it, which is nice for something different. Very satisfying because of the good flavor and filling.
That's great.
So, I've been playing around with things. I don't like to cook, but I do enjoy in my Dutch oven on the stove, trying different things. So,
Well, it's nice to try different things, Sometimes
I've
opens
been,
up your
Yes, expand your horizons.
Correct.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've been
culinary
I
horizons.
started
Your
something. I was
culinary.
eating chia pudding every day for lunch, but I thought I've got to change things up. I'm getting
I get bored.
with this.
Yeah.
So I found this tuna at Costco called Safe Catch.
Mm-hmm.
It's approved for pregnant women because it's so low in mercury.
Mhm.
It's tested. And so I was like, okay, because I'm afraid to eat too much tuna. So I thought, well, this is good that it's very low in mercury. So I started buying it, and I'll take I know this sounds like a lot, but it's very low fat, but it's very high protein. And so for people who can't eat that much protein, disregard this.
Check with your doctor.
Yeah, check with your doctor. I put take an entire can of it, mix it in a little Tupperware bowl with, I bought the big thing of wild brine sauerkraut. I'll add that to it. When I was doing the Faster Way to Fat Loss, my trainer, she was telling me to try adding sauerkraut or kimchi to tuna.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. I think I tried kimchi the first time and I didn't really care for it. So I thought, let me try this sauerkraut. And then I'm adding spicy brown mustard. It's actually really good.
Well,
There
it's
you
the
go.
vinegar and the sauerkraut, Think about it. What the lady just, the French
she
lady.
was saying.
Yeah, she was saying. So it's the vinegar and the sauerkraut. So, but a lot of people also think that they're limited on what they can eat because they're like, what am I going to cook? What is happening? You are not limited. There are
And
so many
so
recipes
much.
out there.
Pinterest.
So much
Go on
to
Pinterest,
try.
type in what you're trying to do, and
Yes.
for why, and you'll have a million
And be
recipes
creative.
to try. Yep.
Be creative.
Yep. So that was our little healthy podcast.
Thanks, Krista.
Our second one. Yes, this was, towards diabetes and pre-diabetic and how to, hopefully ward off some of that. If you're struggling with it, it is reversible. You have to do the work. There's no wand. There's no magic pill. Even if you're on meds and stuff, it's work. So why not put the work in towards not taking the meds?
Exactly. Put in the work towards being a healthy person, as far as not having a diabetic complication. And trust me, I've seen diabetic complications. They are not fun. So,
No.
Yes, they're not fun at all.
No.
But thank you, Crystal, for coming on again.
You're
always
welcome.
enjoy it. And I'm sure that we will probably discuss another topic here soon on health. And we appreciate all our listeners coming on and listening. If you guys have any questions for Crystal, leave them down at the bottom. Shar will relate them to her, or I'm sure you can see them maybe. I'm not sure, but you'll figure it out.
So I have a Facebook and Instagram page called Crystal Clear Wellness.
Follow her page for health tips and videos.
Yes. So you can go on there too as well and leave any comments or questions that you might have about this podcast to her. And we appreciate you all for listening again. And thank you so much. And I'll turn it over to you so you could tell them where we are everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're trying to be everywhere.
I will not stop saying that. We are everywhere.
We're on Spotify, Amazon, Samsung Podcast, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, Apple, Google, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart, Deezer. We are on Instagram, Facebook. We are on TikTok. We're TikToking. We are on Patreon, and we are on YouTube. And that is it, my dear.
Yes, check us out. Subscribe.
Yes.
Hit that bell, hit that button.
And as always, my dear, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you too, as always. And we did a mini date with Crystal, so I'm happy about that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks again, Crystal. We'll see ya.
Okay.
All right. Good
And you
night.
have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.